Now, at the end of yesterday's episode, I said something about, well, put the macro lens on so we can see where we're at. However, I'll do that in a moment. I just want to show you where we are. We left off right around here somewhere. We're now down here, and we're just about ready to go over this little fairlead. This post right here is not adhered, glued. I guess I can take off my, I was going to say pusher downer, but I meant poking tool. I can't remember what the other name was already, I forgot. Okay, back to pusher downer. Anyway, the green paint that we painted on the side here, it's blending in pretty good. At least I think it is. At least it's blending in good on the side. I know the exposure isn't too good for you. You can't really see it, but maybe you'll see it better when I put the macro lens on. And yeah, we'll just move in right here and take a look at this paint. Oh, one more thing. You remember in yesterday's episode I was getting little fluffies on the end of my applicator here, and I couldn't figure out, how is that happening? And then just a few minutes ago, I took my applicator and I laid it down, and it touched the brown towel. So that's how it's picking up the little fluffies. I should have thought of that. And here I thought there was probably something in my CA glue. Now these are the smallest of the fairleads. Now just to refresh our memories here, according to Stefan's book, the Bismarck had at least 3 different types of fairleads. They had a small one that had rollers, they had a large one that had rollers, and then they had this little guy that we're trying to go over right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is each one of these posts, I'll do them individually. Just to make sure. Now we'll let that cure. And yeah, it does look like, at least it looks to me like the, whoops. It does look to me like that rail. It might be writing on the top of that fairlead. I can't tell. Oh, I guess I've got the pin blocking your vision there. Move it over a little bit. Gotta be careful I don't push the rails down too. Okay, we'll give that a minute or two. Okay, about 2 minutes has passed. It may not be perfectly cured, but I think it's good enough. Now are we in the right place there? It looks like it from here. Okay, I'm pretty sure that post is secure. Give it a couple of minutes. Now we'll do the end post separately. Does it look like maybe this one should come back a little bit? Maybe that was too much. There we go. Try and get it as straight as I can, just in case it wicks its way along the bottom on me. And then when I go to try to move it, in fact it did a little bit, you probably noticed that too. I don't think it wicked its way out to the end though, but probably about a third of the way along it looked like. Okay, the last one. And this brings us to a little bit more than halfway back. I was going to say 2/3, but looking at it a moment ago, I realized it wasn't. No use overdoing it. Okay, we'll let that cure. Then we'll see if we can start another row. Remember in the last episode, I was trying to get this post to come as far this way as possible so that the other end of this piece of railing would clear the fair lead. And I was thinking afterwards that if I had have taken this post right here and just made a little L-shaped bend right here so that the post came up a little closer to the handrail of the gangway, it would have in effect shortened the overall length of this rail, and it would have actually looked better. I'll have to remember that for the other side, providing that the other side is the exact same distance. Okay, we should be safe to come off here now. And continue on. And let's see if we're going to be lucky and everything's going to match up for us. Oh yeah, we're back to that. Maybe I should use different tweezers. I'm finding though that this primer that we put on these rails is not scraping off. It's staying on really good. Okay, how's this going? Oh, look. Right in the middle of a... Aww. Now I think being as that this is going to be covered over anyway, I'm just going to make a little mark like this. There. Now to ensure that I cut the right rail, let's make a little kink in it. I think I can probably see that. Well, maybe I can't. There, I can see it now. I think I'm going to have to sharpen my little cutter here. Okay, I got curious here and I stuck on my super macro. I think that's about as sharp as I can get it there, at least where it counts. And yeah, looks like I got a little dent going on there. And the photo etch was just stuck in that dent. Wasn't cutting. Okay, we'll resharpen. Now, I think I've mentioned something to this effect before, and that is that this lens is very, very finicky. Do not buy a lens like this unless you're used to working with, maybe even microscopes, because it's more like a microscope than a lens. To focus it right now, I'm just pushing down in the front and the back of this little stand, which is on this soft cloth, which allows the lens to move in and out, maybe only half a millimeter. That's all it takes to bring the object in or out of focus. Yeah, just I want to impress upon you that, in other words, don't buy this lens. I love it though. It kind of goes with my hobby. That did not sound very good. It made it sound like there's something wrong with this lens when I said don't buy it. It's a wonderful lens. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. Don't buy it unless you know its limitations and know how to use it. Okay. At first glance, I thought, oh no, it's still not matching up properly. And then I realized we have not yet moved our fairlead over here. Okay, we'll use our newly sharpened tool here to see if we can get underneath there. Let's lift that off a little bit. This one doesn't seem to want to come off as easy as the other one did. There we go. Now, I'm wondering if maybe right now is a good time to try and just sand this level here before I paint it. Those of you who were watching me downstairs at the wood lathe, you know how big I am on a scraper. Okay. I wonder if I should check the bottom of this thing, see if there's any little lumps on it that are going to hold it up when I try to put it here. That's something I didn't do on the other one. It's actually in pretty good shape. Not quite straight. I think that's okay. Now, I don't know if we need this tape anymore. Might be more of a hindrance than a help right now. Thank you, Mark. Okay. Pull it back just a tiny bit here. Now I do believe that bottom rail has to go back just a tiny bit. Oops. Trying to get it so that it's the same. Now we'll just do the bottom. Try not to move anything. Okay, we'll let that cure. Now I think if we move our pinhead just ever so slightly to the right there, and see if we can pull this back. Well, it doesn't want to come back. You know what happened? I think the CA wicked its way up between the two posts. Very gently now. Well, there's really nothing I can do here except accidentally bend that top rail down a little. So I think we'll just leave well enough alone. Looking at it normally, you can't see that those aren't perfectly, parallel to each other. Let's just move on to the next one here. Too late. It's set. Alright, let's move 2 posts. That was too bad. Alright, so that it won't be so noticeable, I think what we'll do here is we'll leave this one right here, and even though it could go a little bit further back. Okay, I'll do this one first. Oh, why is it that I keep pushing those out? Oh. Come on. Okay, we'll try it again. See, I'm gluing from the inside so that it won't be seen from the viewing side as much. Like I know that it's much easier to come at it like this, but I'm afraid that I might accidentally get it running down the side of the hull. Okay, let's leave that for a few seconds here. Maybe straighten this out first. There. Oops, careful, don't bump it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue back, working my way towards the stern, and we'll be seeing you at that little fairlead that we just moved a few minutes ago. We are now at the last post before we cross over the fairlead, and notice here on the bottom, that bottom rail is a little bit crooked. I remember when we did that, actually, it was when I saw it happen. When we used our little cutter that we sharpened, I guess I must have been putting a little bit too much force or something in the wrong direction to get that back down there. I'm just wondering if I can't straighten that now, because quit poking at it, for goodness sakes. And because I know for a fact that once we drop the CA there, it's going to wick its way over and we won't be able to. Okay, maybe if I put my jeweler's screwdriver to block it from behind, and then gently push. I don't know if I'm going to make it better or worse. I think it's better. Let's just use my holder downer here to see if we can pull it this way a little bit. Very gently. Don't know why this has to be so perfect. I mean, no one can see that anyway. It just should come back just a tiny bit. Oh! Okay, let's pull this back just a little bit to straighten the post. That is so close to looking good. Now let it wick its way along there. Trying not to pull it this way. I think I did pretty good there. For me, that is. Okay, now we'll move over and do the other side. I don't think we need any adjusting here. Let's see what would happen if I went at it from this side. Are we gonna make a big mess? Yeah, it's more visible. We're gonna have to cut today's video off. It was 2 weeks ago today that I was last out with the car. In other words, we're running out of carrots. So I gotta go out whether I want to or not. Last time I was in the store, they were just beginning their run on toilet paper. It's going to be really interesting to see what Superstore looks like today. Thanks for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.